What's up YouTube, this is GalacticGod, and welcome to another episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Chat. So first off, let me give a big thanks to all my subscribers. I recently hit the 15,000 mark. It is truly a wonderful milestone, and so I must thank all of you guys for continuing to watch all these crazy videos that I post up here on YouTube. Having this many subscribers is something that I never thought I would reach, a feat that I thought was truly impossible, and if it wasn't for you guys, always sticking with me and posting comments and sending me messages and just giving me that drive to really continue forward and really try and improve the videos that I make that I don't think I would have ever made to the 15,000 mark. And so I must say thank you to all of you guys, and I hope to make a ton more videos. I recently reached the 600th video on my channel, and I hope to have 600 more and hopefully another 15,000 subscribers on top of that, and just to keep reaching up and keep trying to improve the quality of my channel and my videos. And I just want to say thank you guys for all that. With that kind of said, I'd like to get on to this week's shoutouts. The first one goes out to StarDuelerNiko, the second one being to GalacticGod 7HV, the third one going out to Samsum77, and the fourth one going out to MasterOfHyperion. If you guys could, please go check out all their channels. I'm going to have links to them all around on the screen, as well as in the description bar below. If you guys could like, rate, and comment on their videos, I'm sure any kind of help and feedback would be most appreciated by them. With that kind of said and out of the way, I'd like to get on to this week's discussion, and that's going to be on reprints. And I really believe that reprints are good for the game. I think that reprints are something that the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Needs, and with the new tins coming out and reprint season in full swing, there's a lot of debate over how good reprints are for the game. Now, I've had friends who left Yu-Gi-Oh! And kind of are hesitant to get back into it because they're worried about picking up cards and them not retaining their value, which essentially means if you're new to the game and you come in at a certain point in the year or a certain point in a format, there are certain decks that cost a lot to get into, the top tier decks. And I have friends that are only interested in playing if they can play real competitively and be in a top tier deck. And I had a friend who was really thinking about getting back into Yu-Gi-Oh! But he was afraid to buy all the cards for the top tier because he was worried about when the new tins and stuff came out, what the value of those cards would be and if his investment would be worth making. And lo and behold, he was interested in the Dino Rabbit, and then now, what do we have? Tour Guide reprints, Rescue Rabbit reprints, Logia, Dolka, Maxi, all this stuff that he probably would have had to invest in is now being reprinted, and his investment would have been probably pretty bad by him, at least in his eyes. And what I told him was, in Yu-Gi-Oh!, unlike some other TCG games, reprints happen. They happen now more than ever, and your cards are not going to retain their value for as long. So if you're going to invest in something, it should be for the love of the game. It should not be to make a buck back on those cards, because I played the game for a long time, and way back in the day, if someone new wanted to get into the game, it would cost them way more of a fortune than it does now. Cards even like Mirror Force were not available in common form, and you had to pay a lot of money to get them. Solemn Judgment, anything that's almost staple related really, was really hard to get. I mean, I remember people paying $5-6 for a common Sakuretsu armor. Now, that's not to mention the holographic cards that were just hard to get. So now that Konami has been, reprinting more frequently and the top tier cards more frequently, some people don't like that. Some people don't like that their cards don't retain value. But if you're in it for the long haul, if you're in it to play the game for a long time, then it's not really a big deal. At least it's not to me. The fact that the card prices fluctuate, the fact that Konami reprints cards is not that big of a deal to me. Now, true, I am a little bit of a collector myself, so I like having the cards in certain rarities just because that's what I like to collect. But, I know that I've always known that Konami reprints stuff. They've always reprinted cards from as far back as I can remember. Even, when the first starter deck came out, stuff like Monster Reborn and Pot of Greed were reprinted. I mean, they've been reprinting top tier cards for a long time, not quite as frequently as they are now, but I think that's really good for the game. Unlike before, when it would cost you literally a fortune to get into the game, Now, if you come in around the summertime, towards the end of summer, beginning of September, you can get a top tier deck for almost next to nothing. You know, at least in Yu-Gi-Oh price terms. Because now you can go out if you wanted to play, you know, wind-ups, you could probably get all the stuff relatively easily. I mean, especially once Wave 2 comes out, a lot of the money cards and wind-ups are going to be readily available to you. If you wanted to play Dino Rabbits are now, you know, very cost-effective to get. Just about any kind of top-tier deck that hasn't come out in the latest set is probably, you know, relatively easy to get now. And I think that's a good thing for the game. I think it's good, and it encourages new players to join the game, to try the game out without having to have some janky, crappy deck because, you know, it's too expensive to get, you know, a good deck. Now players can actually play those, you know, top tier cards without having to shell out, you know, hundreds if not thousands of dollars for these decks. Anyways, that's what I think about the game. And I think the important thing to remember is that in Yu-Gi-Oh, cards are going to get reprinted. Cards are not going to retain their value forever. And now it looks like they're not even going to retain them for a long time. So if you don't have the money and you don't want to shell out and you're worried about reprints, don't get the cards until they're reprinted. Cards will get reprinted eventually. Usually, I'd say maybe a year after they've been originally released, they get reprinted, if that long lately. Anyways, that's my thoughts on the whole subject. In the comment section below, let me know, what do you think about cards getting reprinted? What do you think about how it deals with the secondary market? Is it something that Konami should be more concerned about? Or do you like the fact that cards are being reprinted so rapidly now? And I guess that's it for this week. This is GalacticGod, out.